happy without them. As soon as they were settled in their country house, the merchant and his sons began to till the ground. Beauty rose every morning at 4 o'clock and made haste to clean the house and prepare dinner. She found her duties very painful and fatiguing at first, for she hadn't been accustomed to do the work of a servant. But in 2 months' time she grew stronger, and the activity of her life gave her fresh health and color. When her day's work was over, she amused herself with reading or music. Sometimes she sat down to her wheel and sang to her spinning. Meanwhile, her 2 sisters were wearied to death with the dullness of their life. They stayed in bed till 10 o'clock, did nothing all day but saunter about, and for their only diversion talked with regret of their former fine clothes and friends. "Look at her young sister," they said to one another. "She's so low-minded and stupid that she's quite content with her miserable condition." The family had lived in this solitude for a year, when a letter arrived for the merchant telling him that a vessel on which there was merchandise belonging to him had arrived safely in port. The 2 elder girls were nearly out of their minds with joy when they heard this good news, for now they hoped that they should be able to leave the country. They begged their father that he departed to bring them back dresses and capes, head-dresses, and all sorts of odds and ends of fancy attire. Beauty asked for nothing, for, as she thought to herself, all the money that the merchandise would bring in wouldn't be sufficient to pay for everything that her sisters wished for. "Is there nothing you wish me to buy for you?" her father said to her. "As you are so kind as to think of me," she replied, "I pray you to bring me a rose, for we have none here." Now Beauty didn't really care about the rose, but she had no wish to seem, by her example, to reprove her sisters, who would have said that she didn't ask for anything in order to make herself appear more considerate than they were. The father left them, but on arriving at his destination, he had to go to law about his merchandise, and after a great deal of trouble, he turned back home as poor as he came. He hadn't many more miles to go, and he was already enjoying, in anticipation, the pleasure of seeing his children again, when, passing on his journey through a large wood, he lost his way. It was snowing hard, the wind was so violent that he was twice blown off his horse, and as the night was closing in, he was afraid that he would die of cold and hunger, or that he would be eaten by the wolves that he could hear howling around him. All at once, however, he caught sight of a bright light which appeared to be some way off at the further end of a long avenue of trees. He walked towards it and soon saw that it came from a splendid castle, which was brilliantly illuminated. The merchant thanked God for the help that had been sent him, and hastened towards the castle, but was greatly surprised on reaching it to find that no one in the courtyard or above the entrances. His horse, which was following him, seeing the door of a large stable standing open, went in, and finding there some hay and oats, the poor animal, half dead for want of food, began eating with avidity. The merchant fastened him up in the stable and went towards the house, but still no one was to be seen. He walked into a large dining hall, and there he found a good fire, and a table laid for one person covered with provisions. Being wet to the skin with the rain and snow, he drew near the fire to dry himself, saying as he did so, "The master of the house or his servants will pardon me the liberty I'm taking. No doubt they will soon appear." He waited for a considerable time, but when 11 o'clock had struck, and still he had seen no one, he could no longer resist the feeling of hunger, and seizing a chicken, he ate it up in 2 mouthfuls, trembling the while. Then he took some wine, and his courage returning, he left the dining hall.